Most people, they think going off grid means throwing a few solar panels on a roof and buying a battery from a YouTube ad and magically like a modern day pioneer while their electric bill disappears forever. Then winter hits, clouds roll in for 3 straight days, and the batteries drain, and the freezer warms up. And suddenly, energy independence turns into eating thawed chicken by flashlight. Full off grid freedom is absolutely possible, but the real challenge is understanding how much solar you actually need before you waste thousands of dollars building a system too weak to survive real life. In the average American home, it uses around 25 to 35 kilowatt hours of electricity per day, but that number can explode depending on air conditioning and electric heating or well pumps or even gaming PCs, workshops, or giant appliances running nonstop. The first mistake people make is sizing solar panels based on sunny, perfect conditions and numbers instead of worst case reality. Your system has to survive the storms, the winter production drops, the inverter losses, and the battery inefficiencies, the dirty panels, and the several cloudy days in a row. And if your setup only works when conditions are perfect, then your setup doesn't actually work. The foundation of every off-grid solar systems, it starts with the daily energy use. Before buying a single panel, you need to calculate every device you use and how long it runs each day. A refrigerator may use 1 to 2 kilowatt hours daily. A microwave might use very little overall despite the high wattage. But electric water heaters, dryers, and space heaters are absolute monsters that can destroy small solar systems. And this is why many successful off grid homes switch to propane for heating, hot water, and cooking. Solar works best when you reduce unnecessary electric loads instead of trying to power suburban level of consumption in the middle of nowhere. And once you know your daily usage, you size the battery bank first, not the panels. Most beginners they do the opposite. Batteries determine how long you can survive without the sunset or the sunlight. A true off-grid system should ideally have at least 2 to 3 days of backup power. If your home uses 30 kilowatt hours daily, then 3 days of reserves means around 90 kilowatt hours of storage. But you can also cannot fully drain most batteries without shortened lifespans, so real capacity needs to be even larger. Lithium iron phosphate batteries have become the gold standard because they last longer, they charge faster, they require less maintenance. And they handle deep cycling far better than the older lead acid systems. They cost more upfront. But replacing cheap batteries every few years usually becomes more expensive long term. After batteries come panel sizing. Here's where reality crushes the fantasy. If your home uses 30 kilowatt hours per day and your area averages about 5 peak sun hours daily, many people think they only need 6 kilowatts of solar panels, and that math ignores the efficiency loss, the season drops, the cloud coverage and battery charging overhead in real world off grid conditions. You often oversize the solar array by 30 to 50% or more. So instead of 6 kilowatts, you may realistically want 8 to 10 kilowatts of, panels just to maintain reliable year round power. And if you live in the northern states with brutal winters, lower sunlight angles, and heavy snow, you may need even more. Winter is the true test of every off grid system because solar production can drop dramatically, while energy use rises at the exact same time. This is why experienced off grid builders obsess over winter calculations instead of summer numbers. Anybody can generate massive power during long, sunny July days. January is what separates a real off grid setup from an expensive camping project. The panel placement matters more than people realize. Shade is the silent killer of solar efficiency, and one, placed tree branch can reduce output far more than expected. Panels should face true south in most of the United States and be angled for maximum seasonal exposure. Adjustable ground mounts often, they outperform roof insulation because they allow for better maintenance. It's easier snow clearing and seasonal roof changes. The roof system it's cleaner, but ground systems are usually easier to expand on later. And expansions matter because almost everybody underestimates future energy needs. And the second people get free power, they start adding all kinds of things. They start chest freezers, bigger tools, and servers, outdoor lighting, or electric gadgets they might have never planned for originally. Inverters are another area where cheaping out becomes painful. The inverter converts stored battery power into usable household electricity. And poor quality inverters can waste energy, fail under heavy loads, or produce unstable power that damages electronics. Pure sine wave inverters are essential for modern appliances and sensitive equipment. Surge capacity also matters too because refrigerator pumps and power tools can pull huge startup loads for a few seconds. A weaker inverter might technically handle your daily wattage while still shutting down every time the well pump kicks on. Generators are still part of the most serious off grid systems, and pretending otherwise is usually fantasy. Even larger solar setups often include propane, diesel, or gasoline backup generators for extended storms or emergencies. And the smartest off grid homeowners treat generators like insurance rather than failure. If you experience weak snowstorms with minimal sunlight, having backup charging capabilities can save thousands of dollars in spoiled food, frozen pipes, or even damaged batteries. Another overlooked factor is energy discipline. Off grid living changes how you think about electricity. On grid homeowners rarely cause care when they use power because the utility grid absorbs the demand spikes. Off grid users learn to run heavy appliances during strong sunlight hours instead of the late at night hours. Laundry, power tools, water pumping, and charging devices become strategic decisions tied to the solar production. And that mindset, it can dramatically reduce the battery strain and improve overall system efficiency. Cost is where many people panic too. A fully capable off-grid solar system for an average modern home can easily cost between $30,000 and $100,000. And depending on your storage capacity, your energy usage, your redundancy, and even your installation complexity, that number scares people until they compare it to decades of utility bills, the rising energy prices, the fuel costs, and grid dependence. The real question is not whether, off grid solar is expensive. The real question is whether energy freedom is worth investing in. The cheaper path to off grid success is not buying the biggest system possible, it's aggressively reducing your energy waste first. Better insulation, energy efficient appliances, LED lighting, propane heating, and smart consumption habits can cut solar requirements in half. Every watt you eliminate is a watt you never have to generate, store, or pay for. And that changes everything. Full off grid freedom is not about flexing giant solar arrays on social media. It's about designing a system that survives reality when conditions are bad, equipment ages, and life becomes unpredictable. If you want true independence, build for the worst month, not the best day. Oversize the array, and protect the batteries. Keep backup power available and reduce energy waste whenever possible. Because the difference between surviving off grid and thriving off grid, it usually comes down to one brutal truth. The people who succeed plan for darkness long before the sun disappears. Sorry today, I was kind of off my game today. I have not been myself today. I'm struggling over a cold. But if you really found a use for this video or found it to be educational or got something from this video and you want to see us again, I'd love to see you on the next video. So if you would, just subscribe is all I ask for. Without that subscription base, we can't grow on YouTube, and that's what we desperately need right now. And I'd love to see you on the next video. It was a pleasure having you, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.